everybody. For those of you who are with us this morning, welcome back. Welcome to the afternoon sessions of Demo Day. We have an awesome group of companies from Next Generation School Infrastructure Group. Kicking us off, Madhavi Shankar from SpaceBasic.
Hi, my name is Madhavi. I'm the CEO and co-founder of SpaceBasic. SpaceBasic is Asia's largest AI-powered university and student housing automation platform. Now, what that means is we empower universities, drive student success through a connected campus experience. We are a female-led B2B SaaS company, and we are proud to have over 250,000 users across 72 universities in the APAC region. We have been backed by marquee investors, some of who are founding members of 500 startups as well as Blackstone Ventures. Now, the problem that we're trying to solve is that over 80% of universities in Asia use little to no technology outside of the classroom. Now, especially when it comes to student living, the entire experience is so fragmented when it comes down to the experience staff, students, etc. have. It leads to wasted time, it's so error-prone, there's a lot of manual intervention, and more importantly, there's no data-driven insights, or there's no data that's being utilized for better operations. What you see here is typically how data is collected in a university for tasks such as student onboarding, or it could be raising maintenance tickets. Now, as you can see, you might see somebody writing forms down, it's still pen and paper. India, for example, by itself has over 960 million mobile phone users. And with the highest under 30 population, all of these students over here have a smartphone with data in their back pocket. And that's what we're optimizing at SpaceBasic. Well, we're a mobile-first application, and we focus on automating student housing, all of the workflows, right? All of the communication and all of the day-to-day tasks. Easy payments around the campus. It could be paying fees, or it could even be, let's say, buying a meal in the cafeteria. Digital cafeteria is one of our flagship products. Now, we have proven to save over 40% of food wastage in universities, which has resulted in, of course, food wastage, but also significant cost reduction and capacity planning. Smart ID is automated access control, which seamlessly integrates with IoT and makes it really easy for universities to pay attention to student security on campus. With this, all the data that comes from all of these workflows and automation, what we do is we give that back to universities to help them use this data to make powerful data-driven decisions. As a result of that, it's faster, it's cheaper, and more importantly, it really does provide a seamless experience for staff as well as for students in that entire ecosystem. So consistently, year on year, we have grown 200% or 2x from 22 to 23, 23 to 24. We're on track to have the same growth. And just to visualize what that means, I'd like to leave you with our 2023 impact report and also kind of see what 2024 holds for us at SpaceBasic.
2023. An incredible year for us at SpaceBasic. Let's take a peek behind the hostel curtains to look at delightful stats that made 2023 a year to remember. With SpaceBasic, universities manage a whopping 210,000 plus beds across 70,000 rooms. With an impressive 85% student occupancy rate, our rooms were more buzzing than a campus coffee shop during finals week. The most requested feature was activity booking. With activity booking, students easily scheduled and enjoy a wide array of activities with a simple click. 2023 was a year of epic integrations. We seamlessly integrated SpaceBasic with 12 softwares for a smoother, more effortless student housing experience, and our customers loved it. This year, we recorded a mouth-watering victory. Ready? With SpaceBasic, students booked a whopping 18 million meals. Kudos to our students for effectively saving 7,000 kilograms of food from the landfill. Mess Manager was not just a meal ticket, but a green ticket to a more sustainable future. SpaceBasic orchestrated a seamless flow of a whopping 350 crores in payments and transactions through the year. Colleges achieved an impressive 80% on-time payments, while outstanding balance was slashed by 50%. With the goal of ensuring the secure return of students to their housing, our universities operated with superhero efficiency, achieving a remarkable 2.8 million scans into the Internet of Things. With one-click reports and AI-driven dashboards, SpaceBasic transformed data into wisdom for decision-makers. Simplifying the lives of over 250,000 users isn't just a number for us. It's about empowering a community of 250,000 with the magic of a connected campus experience.
Thank you all for your time.
Okay, great. Next up, we have Ed Machina, presented by Yamil Rabat.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jamil Rabat, and I'm the co-founder and CEO of Machina, the first AI-powered SaaS platform that optimizes student retention and success from K-12 to grade in real time. So let's take a look at the problems that we are solving since we created Machina. And first of all, what we've seen is a decline in academic performance. This is especially true after the pandemic, and it's especially true in K-12 as well. If you think about it, this leads to an increase in dropout rates and, of course, the decreased EBITDA from many educational institutions. From a micro perspective, what we find there is that most of educational institutions are still working in isolated silos, and therefore, decision-making is actually flawed from the ground up. So what we see there is poor retention results, an over-dimensioned structure, and, of course, a higher than needed OpEx. If we take a look from a macro perspective, just to illustrate on the gravity of this problem, of the scale of this problem, we will see that in terms of dropout rates, the average is around 40%. This, the US and Latin America and the Caribbean, the same. And if you take a look from a financial perspective, we will see that this amounts to a revenue loss of around $400 million per country per year in LATAM and up to $3.8 billion in the US only. That's why we created at Machina, the first plug-and-play solution that integrates a no setup fee, no cost whatsoever, to basically provide AI-based predictions and AI-powered recommendation based on some of the most powerful algorithms in the market. And with that, we use those as an input to create automated actions as a massive scales in a personalized way. And with this, we are increasing revenue, decreasing OpEx, of course, improving student participation in exams. The recommendations that we offer and the predictions that we offer using AI does not end in students, but also courses and professors, so we can get a 360-degree view of what's going on with our educational institution. Also, our workflow model, which is basically how we can actually action upon those students, allows us to segment the audience, design actions, and create analytics to check. Our revenue model is fairly simple. It's a SaaS company, so we charge a fee per student per month. Basically, we launch a pretty aggressive pilot program that's been successful all over the region. If we take a look, we are proving the following results along our customers, and this has the increase of freshman student retention by 7%, which is pretty big. We also managed to decrease the amount of repetitive tasks for like 20%, and the amount of messages being sent to the students by 17%. This, of course, is OpEx. We also increase the academic performance of the student, the participation at the LMS by 6%, and increase in student exam participation by 4%. Ever since we launched our pilot program, we managed to secure $3 million in bookings with some of the largest institutions in the region, and I'm speaking about Latin America when I'm speaking to the region. This is where we have presence now. We're over 15 countries fully operational, over 350 campuses, and more than 750,000 students in our platform. I'm gonna leave you with a short video from one of our products called Risk Detector. We had a problem with the music, so you're gonna have to keep on listening to me. Apologies for that. But our product is Risk Detector, which integrates directly with the LMS and provides a set of recommendations and also the risk level of every student, every course, and basically every professor. As you can see there, we're talking about courses over there, see how the risk unfolds, and not only the risk per course, but also, as you see over there, per section. And this is especially interesting with universities that has, the curve of risk is never a normal distribution. It's usually skewed to freshman students with those courses with a higher content of usually math and those courses. So if we take a look at it, we're going to keep on looking at how the risk per student unfold in this particular part of our platform, and we will discover there how we can tackle that risk. But also, we will understand in depth how our courses are comprised in terms of academic distribution and instructional design. Our workflows allows us to segment the audience in many, many possibilities, as you will see over there, and it allows us also to use as triggers for the action that you want to send to our students, either by email, SMS, or WhatsApp. Who's not there, we can use either risk, we can use a level of activity, and we can use behavior of the student to create triggers to automate actions. Thank you very much. We don't just predict the future, we transform it.
Awesome. Okay, I'm excited to welcome to the stage Amar Kumar from KaiPod Learning for the next demo.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Amar Kumar. I'm the founder of KaiPod Learning, and we help teachers start schools. Let's talk about why. COVID took off the beer goggles for tens of millions of parents. They saw their schools were rigid, inflexible, and not geared to the needs of their kids. And it's no surprise that 40% of families this spring are looking for real alternatives for their kids. And that number has never been that high. And we see some evidence of this in the rise of homeschooling, which used to sort of be on the outskirts of education. And now there are as many kids homeschooling today than there are kids in charter schools or kids in Catholic schools. This is a canary in the coal mine. This is evidence that there is a significant unmet demand for alternatives. But where are these alternatives going to come from? Public schools are just not innovating fast enough. We don't have the political will to create a lot more charter schools or the capital to create new private schools. So the time is ripe for a new school model. Enter microschools. Microschools are the one-room schoolhouse brought to the modern era. It's 10 to 15 students supported by a really passionate educator in person. These students are working on content and a curriculum that's just right for them, supported by wonderful technology. They're building in-person friendships, relationships, grit, resilience, all the things they need to thrive in this world. It's going to be the right option for tens of millions of kids. Here's what else makes them great. Microschools are really quick to launch. Microschools are really cheap to launch. Microschools are not bound by as much regulation as big box models. And most microschools are started by teachers. And a teacher with 12 kids in his or her microschool can probably make 50% more than they were making in a traditional classroom. So it's a win for kids, it's a win for parents, and it's a win for educators. This is why there's significant advantages to the models that exist today. But these are really hard to start. For a teacher who's teaching in a traditional classroom, there's a lot of friction to get your microschool started. And that's why we exist. We are creating a comprehensive system, software and services to help these education entrepreneurs start, scale, and sustain high-quality microschools in their communities. Let's talk about how we do that. So we've tackled the three biggest challenges that a founder faces. Number one is growth. Teachers are not usually marketers. They need to create a website, they need to do some local activation, some lead nurturing. They don't have the skills or the tools to do that. Our CRM system, our templates, our collateral, everything helps them put the butts in seats, helps them get enrollment up to capacity. Number two, academics. Teachers have a very strong vision for what their school should look like, but they've probably never had to pick a curriculum before or design a schedule from scratch. Whereas we've seen hundreds of microschools. We know what works, what doesn't work, and for which populations of kids. So our professional development and our student experience app helps them run a wonderful student day that's magical for every kid. And then third is operations. As a small business owner, they're faced with hundreds of decisions, and they don't have the knowledge base to decide how to make those decisions. And those things cause a lot of stress. How do you hire someone? How do you get a substitute? How do you do bookkeeping? Our Micro School in a Box software makes all that easy so they can focus on kids. And just stepping back, if you're a teacher running an intentionally small school, you don't have the resources to invest in these things. But we're building a national network, investing in these things so those teachers can be more effective at what they are trying to do. And here's why all this matters. Parent demand for alternatives is skyrocketing. And it is being fueled by new policy changes, funding for school choice. So today, 1 in 4 kids in America have an education savings account. That means if they leave their traditional school, they can use those tax dollars, to pay for a private school or a micro school. That starts to level the playing field so anyone can afford this new alternative. And that is continuing to generate some incredible tailwinds in this space. So we're really excited to be bringing about the future of schooling eventually so that every child loves the school they're in. Thank you.
Awesome, thanks Amar. Before we start the next demo, I just want to encourage people at the doors to come and find a seat toward the front. Thank you, thank you. Okay, next up we have Daniel Andrews from Playground.
Hello. Hey everyone, I'm Dan. I'm the founder, CEO here at Playground. We're an app and a website to manage childcare businesses. So we're more operational than EdTech. I know this conference is more EdTech. But my mom is an educator, and she ran a school in Southern California for 26 years. And the shocking thing was how crazy it was, how many things she needed to get done day to day. She had floor-to-ceiling file cabinets that stored records going back years. She had to collect tuition. She was running a business. And so she would collect tuition by children putting their tuition checks in the backpacks next to lunchboxes, and the teachers would collect them and bring them all together. And that's how she'd collect 300 checks, 350 checks every single month. Parents were signing in manually, so they had no idea who was picking up or dropping off. It was a huge security risk. She ran a religious organization. Kind of countless. And a lot of times parents were not getting consistent communication from their families either. And so there was all of these different things that I knew we could solve with software. And so we built Playground, which is all-in-one childcare management system. So we started off with my mom's school. It was hugely successful. We were able to replace those massive file cabinets. We were able to increase communication with families. Billing was not done with paper checks anymore. We were able to put that all online, and she was able to pay her teachers more because she was collecting her money more frequently and better. But then also my whole entire family started using this too. My aunt ran a chain of schools, and she started using Playground. My grandma's a preschool administrator. My sister's an occupational therapist in childcare. And so we were able to have a really large impact on their day-to-day and let them focus a lot more and spend more time with the children doing what they do best, which is education. And so essentially what we did was we took all of these different paper and pencil processes, we took all of these point solutions and put them into one system for them to manage. So their staff only had one login, their parents only had one login, and they as administrators had much deeper understanding of what was going on within their schools. So just kind of examples of what we do for some of the childcare businesses. Here you can see billing, for example. One of the craziest things is how late people pay for childcare. It's not seen as a professional industry. People see it as babysitting rather than education, which is what it really is. And so we work very diligently to try to professionalize the service of child education. And so payments is the first thing. It's how are you actually paying and getting paid? Making sure you're collecting payments on time, making sure that you have invoices and statements, overdue reminders. Things that seem very simple in in other industries are something that's very complicated and aren't taken as seriously in childcare. And so we work to professionalize this and make this much more accessible for the providers we work with. Enrollment, I don't know if you guys have ever applied for childcare, but it is a nightmare. You have forms on forms on forms, paperwork, you're signing your kid's name 20 times, you're adding their birthdays, everything else. So we digitized all of that. We made it really easy for schools to see, I have 200 people on my wait list, who can I accept, who do I have space for? And we find that people are actually filling up their schools now. People with 100 spots were only filling 80 slots because they didn't know where they had availability. And so by putting this online and showing them that data, we empower them to actually go and fill up the slots and make more education available to these young children. Also communication, who doesn't love getting pictures of their kids throughout the day? My sister has 3 kiddos, and just getting the photos from her just lightens up everybody's day. She shares all of the photos with us, And so this was important that we made it really easy for the teachers who didn't want to slog through and manage all these different things, upload them onto Facebook, all these other stuff. So now it's just take photos on the app and upload throughout the day. This has been really successful. We're now working with thousands of schools across the country. We have 3 state contracts in Iowa, Kansas, and Indiana, where our software is free for providers, where they see the value that we're able to provide for these schools. Here's some example stories where you see they're just using a lot of different systems. What's also hidden here is the paper and pencil processes that they're using for so many things as well, that we're able to digitize and streamline. I know those are buzzwords, but it truly is impactful and changes the day-to-day for these providers. In terms of our team, we're a small team. We're 10 people working with thousands of schools, and so we're looking, it's kind of crazy how much impact you can have on some of these industries that really do need our help when you look it over. But we're fortunate to have been named to Forbes 30 Under 30 for our work here, as well as obviously this Cup 50. And we're backed by a team of excellent investors who really care about the work that we do as well. Thank you. Enjoy the conference.
Awesome, thank you so much. Dan, up next, we have Evan Wilson from Scaffold Ed.
Hi everyone, my name is Evan Wilson. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Scaffold Ed, and we're giving every K-12 district the power of a data engineer and making sure that the people close to student learning get safe and reliable access to the information they need. Today I'd love to show you how. So to set the scene, I'd love to tell you a story of a student who is struggling both academically and behaviorally in school. They have disciplinary problems and their GPA is slipping. It's no secret that there's a team of people working around this student. At the highest level, we have superintendents and other lead administrators working with curriculum instruction to develop district-wide strategies based on larger sets of information to help support students like this and their classmates. Then we have principals and teachers working to take this information and create the right interventions and strategies to support this student and other students that are in similar situations. With Scaffold Ed, this can look a lot smoother. There's one big problem. With K-12 data teams, data is scattered, siloed, and messy. This causes a lot of ad hoc data requests and other access requests that lead to slowdowns for these different stakeholders to make the impact that they want to. So I'd love to show you how Scaffold Ed can make that a lot more streamlined. So as we take a look at the product, we can see that the stakeholder at this district has access to a variety of different data sources. From here, they can select both from their disciplinary information and their GPA information that's living in multiple different places within their entire data stack in their school. One thing that I'd like to mention is that this is all live information the second that we're accessing it. We can sort through and pick out exactly what they need for these lists of students, and then from here we can combine this information based on matching the different students that fall under these categories. Then from here, we can create a filter looking for a specific disciplinary infraction that we'd like to dive deeper into. And then after all of this, we can export this information to Google Sheets to create a live connection to make sure we have access to a list of students as opposed to one single visualization for those students. So you'll see here, we can export to a live Google Sheet to distribute that information to every single stakeholder who needs access and should have access to this student data. One thing that I'd like to highlight about Scaffold Ed is that you can also build live connections by creating automatic updates. So you'll see in a second, we can create a bi-weekly update for this information to make sure that every 2 weeks it's updated, or even daily we could update the information as well. And lastly, I'll show you something that a school administrator built with Scaffold Ed to track disciplinary information alongside school GPAs in a more robust way. So we didn't build Scaffold Ed in a vacuum. We worked with an early set of design partners who already had robust data programs and data stacks, but wanted to extend them further than using the more legacy BI tools that they were using that didn't work for their districts. We helped them transform the way that their educators were using data and brought data to more hands within their districts, including parents. We also listened when they told us that they needed more support for data governance. We allowed technical leaders to build scalable ways to have more access to different roles and assign those roles in a more fine-toothed way for those educators. And we're excited to build more intuitive ways for educators to access information with Scaffold Ed, with natural language querying and integrations with the latest and greatest flexible dashboarding tools for educators to get all of the visualizations that they need. Lastly, I'd like to zoom out to the challenge that K-12 districts are facing. The average private sector data engineer makes as much, if not more, than your average superintendent. What this creates is an unsolvable problem for districts who are looking to modernize their data infrastructure, but are stuck working with outside vendors that don't allow them the flexibility that they need to improve their data stacks. At Scaffold Ed, we say that we're building for the missing piece of the K-12 data stack. For us, that missing piece are the people within K-12 districts with the educational expertise and innovative ideas for how to improve their district's data systems, but are lacking the tools to do so. So that's what we're doing. We're giving every K-12 district the power of a data engineer without needing to hire one. I'd love to hear from you, and thank you for your time.
Okay, great. Okay, next up, we are welcoming Schoolytics to the stage, presented by Aaron Wortman.
Hello. We are into the data portion of the presentation, so I hope you're excited to talk about data. My name is Aaron Wortman. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Schoolytics, the student data platform for K-12 schools. My co-founder and I have a wealth of experience in data science and education, having previously worked at CHEG, doing data science work there, and my co-founder, Courtney Monk, is an elected school board member in her hometown district, so she sees a lot of the challenges firsthand as far as what school leaders go through. The challenge that we see is this: schools are overwhelmed with data. There's so much information that continues to grow on attendance, grades, behavior, benchmark, formative assessments, diagnostics, survey, SEL. There's just so much data. And this is such a recurring problem. There's a phrase I hear all the time to describe this: data rich, information poor. I hear this everywhere that I go when I talk to schools. It means that they know they have mountains of information, but really struggle to turn this into insights and action. Enter Schoolytics. We've built a student data platform that allows schools to create a single pane of glass on student data. We've built over 50 different automated connectors to date that connect to your student information system, learning management system, assessment platforms, survey data, spreadsheets, and more, that allows schools to really tap into this information. There's plenty of data solutions in the space. I think things that we're seeing differently relative to legacy data platforms, really around 3 different bins. Customization. This has been a really big part of our platform, be able to customize to what school districts need. I think that what we've seen is that there's some traditional companies that treat schools as pretty one-size-fits-all, like, hey, here's the way you calculate attendance or assessments, but schools are incredibly different. They have different populations, different prioritizations, needs. So we've built a framework that allows schools to really customize their platform to whatever they're looking for. Interactive drill downs. So these are not just charts and tables and graphs. These are tools where you can click in, drill down from reports, see lists of students, pull up student profiles, and go from district-level views of data, down to building-level views, down to individual, comprehensive student profiles. And lastly is access for all. It's not just about having data for your leadership team. It's about getting it down to the building level, down to the classroom level. How can you empower your entire district to be data-driven and have self-service access to information? Just recently, we announced the ability to chat with your data using AI. We'll see if the... Okay, no video for this one, but we've created the ability to chat with your data using AI. So you can actually just type in a question, and the system will understand what data sources you need to analyze, how to group the data, how to analyze it. And what this ultimately does is opens up access to more and more people. So regardless of your level of data savviness, you can tap into this information. One thing that's really fascinating about building this is that the AI part of this was relatively trivial, kind of like passing into instructions into ChatGPT. The hard part, getting the data together, having a human-readable data dictionary, and then an interoperable query layer that the AI system can interact with. So we've done all the heavy lifting that made it very easy to plug AI into these tools. We're really excited about the future now that we have all this data assembled in one place, where we can build a lot of data tools beyond data dashboards, including student and parent portals, PBIS tools, personalized learning plans. So there's a lot of things we're excited about doing in the future. But before the world of data-powered, AI-powered everything, there's some really concrete tactical problems we want to solve in schools. Spreadsheets. Spreadsheets are secretly some of the most complicated but important data sets in school systems. And one of the things that we've seen is especially intervention tracking is really, really challenging in schools. Most school systems are putting student interventions into spreadsheets where every building is maintaining their own set of documents that have 20 different columns where they have those columns for attendance and behavior and MAP scores. And now schools are trying to figure out how to streamline those operations and create a process that allows them to create student referrals, document interventions, and see all that data side by side. So we're really, really excited about this work. We've actually got our team from Dexter, Michigan, I see here in the house. We've been great partners helping us build out these MTSS tools. So come talk to me after the session if you want to talk about MTSS and RTI. We're really excited about the work that we're doing. We're using tools to build insights, automation, collaboration to help streamline data workflows for educators. And ultimately, it's about helping to differentiate student support at scale. And that's the power of data, that you can differentiate student support at scale. Thank you very much.
All right, great. To close out Next Gen School Infrastructure, we've got Ben Dodson from Doowii.
Hello, everyone. I'm Ben. I'm the founder and CEO of Doowii. Doowii is the first Gen AI native data platform built specifically for education. And after all the talks you just heard, why do we need yet another data platform, data tool, BI, anything? And to answer that question, 10 years ago, 70% of survey institutions said that analytics was a major priority for their school district. And the majority, though, had yet to move beyond basic reporting. Now, 10 years later, I would bet every penny that my co-founder, Matthew, over there has, that we still cannot move beyond basic reporting. And that's not because I'm scared of my pennies. He has 4 kids. His pennies are more important than mine. And so, why am I so confident in risking the lives of his children? Well, it's because a more recent study showed that 35% learning analytics studies use only 2 or less data, or sorry, the opposite of that. Only 35% of studies use 2 or more data sources. And a study by Dell Foundation found that 67% of institutions believe that data interoperability is a widespread issue. 53% believe it's urgent, and only 33% believe they had made progress on it. What does that flow look like today when you want to access data? Let's say you want to look at attendance data, teacher absences, and assessment. Typically, you would send a request to a data team. They would start to aggregate data together, doing data quality checks, doing processing before finishing the analysis, and collating that into a report days to weeks later. Now, maybe you've bought some sort of managed data warehouse solution, maybe you have a crack data team, but still it's going to take quite a bit of time. And then what happens? You have follow-up questions for the report. Like maybe you want to see a breakdown for marginalized learners. Maybe no one calculated the correlation, or you want to see the correlation for the past 3 years that someone brings up into a board meeting. Then you start the process over again. And so the desire to do deeper, better data analytics is hindered by this painful, slow, cumbersome process. So that's why we created Doowii. Doowii lets you talk to your data in your language. We shouldn't be talking in the language of data. And so being able to use natural language to query whatever you're looking for, such as student teacher absences, you get the results back. And not only do you get the results back, but you're able to get analysis, as well as the methodology, the SQL that runs the statement, and suggested follow-up questions on how you can explore the data. This means that you can interact with your data in a natural way and actually explore the data to get deeper, meaningful analysis. Because my experience and background is as a data scientist working within tech for Google, for Snapchat, and across the industry, no one that I've ever given a data report to just says, thanks, I'm good with all this data now. They always have follow-up questions, and being able to answer those follow-up questions and act as an AI data scientist to every educator out there is the goal of what we're trying to do at Doowii. And not only can we retrieve the data, we can visualize it, also through natural language. And we can even run machine learning models and predictions so that you don't just say, hey, what's my past 30 days of attendance, but what's a forecast of what my attendance is going to look like over the next 30 days. What we're doing is we're pulling together all the different data sources and being able to orchestrate that in a way that really replicates that experience. And you can save the results in a pinboard or a dashboard and share it so that you democratize data access across the organization. Looking at how we do this is going to be more complex than I can explain in 40 seconds. But we basically take all your data, and then we can do reporting, analysis, and prediction. I'll leave you with this last quote, which is, education is not an affair of telling and being told, but an active and constructive process. By John Doowii, who are named after. I would say that education data is also not an affair of telling and being told, but an active and constructive process. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, so that closes out Next Gen School Infrastructure. We'll start in 15 minutes with AI language learning. Thank you so much.